So we're here for the noontime class, which precedes lunch. So that means we get a chance to be a little bit vigorous in the practice. And then to end with like a mindful slowing down so that your digestion is ready for food and to really be nourished by the food. So let's start by sitting quietly and upright, please. And I am sitting on a Swiss ball here so that I can see you guys better for the beginning part of our class. And then I'll go to my practice mat behind me. So please rest your hands in your lap and let your eyes close. And know that I'm just so happy that you're here, that we get to come together. I'm greatly looking forward to these sessions every day. It's nourishing for me. I hear from you how nourishing it is for you. And it's wonderful to sense that we do still have community even though we're having our shelter in place practice. So please close your eyes or bring your gaze down towards the floor if that's your preference. I've been saying to you this week and last week about the doshas and the chakras, and I will just remind you that the Pitta dosha, the fire and water dosha, is the one that's responsible for our metabolizing food, thoughts, emotions, life events. And Pitta also governs your eyes and your throat, digestion and the small intestine. So as you close your eyes right now, I'm going to ask you to really soften your eyes. Let the eyes themselves be very relaxed. You may have to be deliberate about that invitation and even to reassure your eyes that they have permission to not right now be seeking. Your eyes do not need to focus right now on seeing news, reading news. Your eyes can release the events of the morning and tune into the present moment in its simplicity and grace. Soften the place between your eyebrows, the corners of your eyes, and the space behind your eyes. And imagine in this softening how the eyes transmit an image back to a place in the optical part of your brain. And you can actually move your attention backwards in your skull towards the back of your brain. And imagine it like you're taking refuge. You're having a gentle retreat. For each time that you soften your eyes and return, you're reminding your brain that in the present moment, you can find refuge and replenishment and renewal. It is said in Buddhism we take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dharma, and the Sangha. So in the great teachers, in the teachings, and in the community. So as you gaze back, following the neurological pathway of your eyes towards the back of your brain, imagine the tradition of yoga and even of Buddhism and other spiritual traditions that nourish your life. Imagine those behind you as an immense backdrop to nourish you during this practice. And please bring your hands together at your heart. You may sing with me if you like. Sahana vavatu, sahana bhunaktu, saviryam karavavaye, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma vidvishavaye. Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavavaye Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavaye Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavavaye Om Shanti Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart with gratitude that everyone else is here with you and you are here with them. We have the teachings available to us, these teachings that have been alleviating suffering for thousands of years and giving guidance towards wisdom, love, and grace. You may release your hands. Please open your eyes.
Yeah.
And come up to standing on your yoga mat.
Battery.
When you come up to stand, I'd like you to take a stance where you can have your feet hip distance apart and also parallel, and check that you've got clearance for the arms to go out to the side. We're going to do some vigorous breathing to get started because it's the middle of the day. If you've been working mentally, I want to clear the dust bunnies of the mind, and that'll give you a chance to feel a deeper breath coming down into the vital organs. So bend your knees slightly, make fists with your hands. We're going to be going brisk inhale forward, brisk inhale sideways, and a brisk inhale up overhead. And then we do a strong exhale. We'll be doing that out the mouth, and you open the fingers and toss off the dust bunnies of the mind. And then you'll be coming back up with your inhale. So it goes like this. This is a brisk inhale through the nose 3 times. So we go ha, 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 ha. 5 more. Ha, ha. 3 more. Ha, ha. Last one. So now you're going to hang down like a rag doll and let yourself take a deeper, smoother breath cycle down into your lower belly. And with that inhale, then I want you to exhale like you're blowing out through a straw. Once more, a deeper, smoother breath into your lower belly. And then exhale like you're blowing out through a straw. Okay, shift your hands to your hips, rise up to standing, and we're going to repeat that. And I'm going to ask you to imagine what you're tossing off from the mind. When we go, ha, what are you letting go of? What are you saying no to in that moment? What do you need to declutter or to eradicate for the time being? Make your fists, please. And here we go. Ha, ha, ha. 5 more. 3 more. And then stay down. Let your arms dangle like a rag doll again. Breathe into the lower belly, the lower dantian. And then exhale like a straw. Please do that again. Inhale to the low belly. And then exhale like blowing out through a straw. And in that process, imagine what you're kind of blowing off, what you're letting out, what you're releasing from your body. And then staying down as you are, please walk yourself into downward facing dog pose. And in your downward dog pose, I'm going to ask you to place your hands as always, so they're shoulder width apart and also parallel. With your hips back, go ahead and bend one knee deeply and then the other, and switch that a few times so that you can go slowly to find out what your calf muscles are saying today. So your calves are a part of your fight-flight system. They help you to run away from danger or to steady yourself in the face of a fight. And yet, during your yoga practice, we're not asking you to be in fight or flight mode. So deeply bend one knee, stretch the opposite calf. And then deeply bend the other and stretch the opposite calf. And change one more time, please. Deeply bend one knee. Stretch the opposite calf. And then deeply bend the other knee. Stretch the opposite calf. And then please lower your knees down and walk back to kneeling so that you can see me and I can see teeny tiny pictures of you. So we're going to work on the neck and shoulders to get the what we call Dhyana Vayu, this energy center, moving. And we're also going to remember that place that we were gazing at in the back of the brain. And this is to help the fire of digestion and the fire of the mind to work well together. So in this process, I'm going to ask you now while you're kneeling to put blocks to the side so you'll have them ready for you in a few moments. And just come over to table pose. We're going to inhale through the nose in cow pose. Lift your heart forward. And then exhale to cat pose and blow through the mouth like a straw. Inhale to cow and go through the nose for the inhale. Lengthen your spine slowly and open your heart. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow pose. This time as you exhale, go back to child's pose. Exhale through a straw. Inhale, roll forward to cat. Now exhale to cow pose. Open your mouth, take the tongue way out, and open the eyes. Inhale to cat. Exhale, child's pose, blow through a straw. Inhale to cat pose. Exhale, lion's breath. Once more, inhale to cat pose. Okay, child's pose. Inhale, cat. Exhale, lion's breath. And then inhale, take one block to sit on in Virasana. Rest your hands in your lap. Maybe your dogs and cats have found this to be entertaining if they're watching what you're doing. They think, I already know how to do that stuff. Rest your hands in your lap and close your eyes. Soften your eyes, the muscles that surround your eyes. And as you do that, imagine that you're sending a message deeply to the neurological structures at the back of your brain, in which you are reminding yourself you are taking refuge. This is a practice of self-care and renewal, a practice of refuge. Imagine the eyes going inward and becoming very still. And the fight-flight part of your brain getting the message. Now we're going to use these two blocks to elevate the cat, cow, and child's pose. The blocks are going to go under your hands. And I actually prefer my blocks to be on the medium setting like this. So you can try that out for yourself. I benefit from the longer arms to influence where I'm able to work in my upper back, chest, and shoulders. Okay, so we're going to inhale to cat pose first. And then exhale, check what happens when you go back to your child's pose. We're not going to hang the head lower than the upper arms, so do try to keep it hovering between your upper arm bones. Inhale, roll forward to cat, breathe through the nose. Exhale, lion's breath. Inhale to cat. Press down through your arms and root your tailbone. Exhale, child's pose like through a straw. Inhale to cat pose. Lion's breath. Cat pose. Straw breath, child's pose. Once more, inhale to cat. Lion's breath. Inhale to cat. And straw breath, child's pose. Now, keeping your hips back on your heels, with your two blocks, walk your hands to your right and make a little diagonal so you're actually shortening the right side of your waist and you're lengthening the left side. Do try to keep your left hip back and breathe into the left side body here. As you breathe in down the left side of your waist, you're opening the descending colon, and we happen to be squeezing or massaging the ascending colon, which is on the right side of your torso. Also, you can imagine that your kidneys and your adrenals are receiving the inhale as real nourishment to your inner body. And then walk your blocks in a half circle to the other side. Keep your right hip grounded now. And lengthen the right side of your waist. Imagine now the ascending colon receives the breath, the descending colon is getting the massage.
Imagine also that your kidneys and your right adrenal gland, that they are receiving the nourishment of the inhale, as if they were driftwood floating on a relaxed ocean. And then please walk back to center with your blocks. Walk back to kneeling with your blocks and choose one block to put under your hips and pelvis to sit in Zazen, which is also called Virasana. Rest your hands in your lap, and when you come upright, invite yourself to get very still in the inner body. Bring your awareness to your eyes. Learn how to soften your eyes more promptly and to take your gaze back, following the neurological pattern towards the back of your brain. And let your eyes know they can send this message to the brain and the brainstem. We're not right now in fight nor in flight. We are in refuge and renewal. Imagine your eyes becoming very still and influencing your mind to do the same. Please bring your hands to your heart to acknowledge your efforts. And we're going to transition up for the sun salutation. And there's something I'd like us to be able to do in Surya Namaskar this morning that's also going to stretch the ascending and descending colon and the sides of the body. And I'm going to demonstrate it for you from here. So I'm going to take a profile view so you can see that. Essentially what you're going to have is when you step forward to a pose similar to, let's say, Anjaneyasana, we come forward to open the front of the hip. But we also can stay high up on the blocks and make this slight turn. So watch that my right hand is on my block. I'm going to put my left hand on my knee for support. And we rotate to the outer right knee, outer right shin, outer right foot. So that this side bend that you're seeing down the right side of my waist, we're trying to let that open and to breathe. And then we'll come back to center. And when we do Anjaneyasana on the other side, we can do the same. So we're really trying to get into those spaces. Every moment that your eyes are activated by thoughts, every moment that your eyes see and interpret the world, if it gets interpreted for fight or flight, you're also giving that message to your adrenals, your kidneys, your gut-brain axis, your psoas, your colon. So ascending and descending, let's give different messages. Okay. So let's come up to standing for Surya Namaskar. Place your feet so they are hip distance apart and also so they're parallel. Now momentarily close your eyes, and today when I make this invitation to close the eyes, remind yourself you are here for refuge and renewal. Bring your attention to the back of your brain and stand in the back of your heels and in the back of your kidneys. And now using a long, smooth breath that includes the pauses of the breath, let's inhale up to Urdhva Hastasana. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed as you come down to Uttanasana. Even here, you may keep your eyes closed and inhale, lift forward through your heart. Let's bow deeply to Uttanasana. No need to open the eyes, you know where you're going, and your body knows it from within. Let's inhale, rise up, upward hands. Pour yourself down into your heels. Keep your kidneys broad. Raise your arms, but not your gaze this afternoon. And then float your hands down in front of your heart, or your gaze stays inward. Inhale, sweep your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale to come to Uttanasana. You may again choose to keep your eyes closed. You do know where you're going and you've been here before. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. No need to open the eyes for this afternoon. Now let's exhale, step your left foot way back. See if you can intuit that when you step backwards. And keeping your hands on your blocks, bring your left knee down to the floor. Root your tailbone. And now come up high on your fingertips to lift your torso, roll your shoulders back. And here you have to ask yourself, how are you going to keep your balance? So right toes, right heel, take the tailbone down, root into your left knee. But also keep your attention for the eyes at the back of your brain, your brainstem. And try raising your arms up to Anjaneyasana. And see if you can do it without exciting your eyes. You're going to rely on your balance to come from within. Try keeping your gaze back at your brainstem to reassure your brain and your body you're not right now in fight or flight. You are in refuge and renewal. And then we're going to exhale, sweep the arms wide and come slowly forward. Of course, you can always peek with the eyes or you can choose to keep them closed. Curl your left toes under and let's straighten both legs and bow your torso over your right thigh. Kind of like we were doing in cat pose, we're going inward and your gaze can be inward. For those for whom it would make sense, you could walk your blocks forward. For those who need the blocks to be higher, you can also do that. Okay, one more in-breath. And then exhale, begin the process of slowly bending your right knee to come into your crescent lunge pose. You've been inward. Now, press down through your right heel, sweep your arms wide, open your eyes, raise your arms up overhead, and keep your eyes inward. Even if you're gazing at something like a cherry blossom or a prayer flag, which is what I can see, even if you're gazing at something, let it be a fuzzy kind of gaze, so your awareness is actually back at your brainstem. And then as you next exhale, sweep your arms wide, come slowly forward, and you can touch the two blocks. We're going to step forward to Uttanasana. You're welcome to close the eyes again for refuge and for renewal. Exhale to deeply bow into your Uttanasana. Then inhale, glide your heart forward. With your exhale, take your right foot way back, and you can touch your right knee down towards Anjaneyasana. Come up high on your fingertips. Now before raising up to Anjaneyasana, give yourself a chance to orient for your left toes, your left heel, your right knee, the duties at the back of your pelvis, the tailbone, outer left hip muscles, and then keeping your gaze inward towards your brainstem, you can choose to raise your arms up into Anjaneyasana. It's important that the eyes can send a message of peace or equanimity or tranquility, or some confidence or reassurance, and that your brain knows that right now you're not in fight or flight. You're here for refuge and renewal. And then we're going to exhale, sweep the arms wide. Even though you're coming forward, keep your eyes focused at your brainstem. And then please raise both hips, glide them back, and as you bow over your left leg, you could decide if it's better for you to put your right heel down, if you prefer to walk the blocks and the hands forward. Whatever your choices there might be. And then allow your eyes again to become very still and inward. When we take refuge, we are taking refuge in the teachings, the teacher, the wisdom and grace. You're also taking refuge in community. So as you practice in this pose, try to sense that others too right now are practicing, and they might also be feeling their hamstrings, their calves, their balance, their stamina, or their grace, ease, and joy. Now, as you next exhale, begin the process of bending your left knee to come into your basic lunge. If you walk your blocks forward, this is a good time to walk them back. And as you press down into your feet, go ahead and rise up to your crescent lunge. Raise your arms up overhead. And even if you're gazing forward at something awesome, like a cherry blossom, let your gaze go inward. You're really tuning in to nourish your brainstem. You can give this very powerful message of reassurance that right now you're not in fight or flight. Right now you are here for refuge and renewal. And as you next exhale, sweep your arms wide. And as you come slowly down, let's touch the two blocks. And we're going to step forward again to Uttanasana. Inhale, you might close your eyes here for this transition and practice your internal awareness of where your body goes in Uttanasana. Then inhale, glide forward. Now we're going to work with the colon. So step your left foot back. Touch your left knee down to the floor. This is like Anjaneyasana. This is the pose I was showing before we began the sun salutation. Keep your left hand on your left block. Right hand to your right knee. So as you twist now, you're just going to twist your lower belly across your right thigh, and then let the outer left thigh, outer shin, and outer left hip drape down towards the floor. You can even gaze back over your right shoulder. This isn't a twist where we cross the elbow over the front knee, because we're really allowing the side of the waist, the outer left hip, to drape down like a C shape, like a little slope. So you are massaging the ascending colon. And you're allowing the descending colon to breathe and to become more spacious. Let's do one more breath in. And then exhale and rotate back to face forward towards your right knee and toes. And just notice how that experience was for you. Place your fingertips on the blocks, lift your heart, and we're going to step forward to change sides. So pick up your left knee, float your left foot forward, and your right foot back. Touch your right knee down to the floor. This time you're going to place your right palm firmly on the block, your left hand on your left knee. And as you twist your low belly across your left thigh, do that rotation snugly. Gaze back over your left shoulder. And let the right outer shin, right outer thigh, even the right outer hip drape down towards the floor. While breathing in, notice how the left side of the torso is compressed. That is your descending colon. And the right side of the torso is open. And take a breath down with the right hemisphere of your torso. And please exhale and rotate yourself back to center. And I'm going to ask you now to pick up the right knee. Again, come to your fingertips. And step forward once more to Uttanasana. And cascade down towards the floor. Now we rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Sweep your arms wide. You might close your eyes because you know where you're going. Pour yourself down into your heels. Move back into your kidneys. And as you float your arms up, keep your gaze near your brainstem. And then exhale, float your hands down to your heart. And try to stand with great stillness in your body, in your eyes and your mind. And remind yourself that behind you is the entire tradition of yoga. Standing behind you is thousands of years. And to your sides, to your right and your left, are your companions practicing with you in real time at this moment. Then you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and please come to watch at your computer screen because I'm going to show you now. We're going to again address the upper back, the shoulders, the chest, what we call Vyana Vayu in yoga. So I'm going to come back down to my hands and knees. I do have a lot of shoulder flexibility and it might be different than yours. And I'm going to use these blocks on the medium setting for what we call Cobra, Bhujangasana, upward dog, Cobra, and then back to table and plank pose. It looks like this. Here's my table pose. And when let me move my hair. When I come down towards Cobra pose, I'm going to do that by first reaching into a like forward glide of the hips and the pelvis, moving towards what we might call seal pose, not quite upward dog, but more like seal pose. And then I melt the heart forward to come into Cobra pose. And I'm making this look easy while I even talk in my regular voice tone. Notice here that my shoulders don't go lower to the floor. And then I'm going to glide myself back up towards seal pose. And then back up to table pose. And then to plank pose. Okay, let's try it together. Just simply please do your best and smile at yourself or at me or at the cat or the dog. Okay, so inhale when you're in plank pose. And then exhale, only bring the knees down lightly to table pose. Keep the back of your waist broad. There's your exhale. Now inhale, start gliding your hips forward towards seal pose. About halfway there, I'm going to ask you to raise your heart, your collarbones, and perhaps your eyes. And then start gliding your heart forward to Cobra pose. Take the shoulders way back. Peel open the heart like Hanuman. And then rise from Cobra back up towards your seal pose. And then roll up to table pose. Sweep your lower belly in. There's your table pose. Now plank pose. Okay, let's do it again. Inhale in plank. Exhale to table. Inhale, glide your hips forward and raise your heart. Exhale to Cobra. Slide your shoulders way back. Bring your heart forward. Inhale to seal pose. Okay, exhale to table pose. Sweep the low belly in to support your kidneys and back waist to rise. Inhale to plank. Exhale to table. Remind yourself that you are a warrior yogi and that you need some strength. So inhale to seal pose, hips forward. Raise your heart and your collarbones. And exhale, glide forward to Cobra. Slide your shoulders back and your heart forward. Inhale, rise up, seal. Exhale to table. Last time, inhale to plank. Exhale to table. Inhale to seal pose. Exhale to Cobra. Now from Cobra, place your hands forward of the blocks and come into Makrasana. When you come to Makrasana, it's like lying down, you make a little pillow of your hands to put your forehead on. And it's an important time now to let the eyes deeply relax. Your eyes will have more darkness because your head is on your hands. So take your gaze back to the place of refuge for your lizard brain, your reptilian brain. And then place your hands one more time on your blocks. For those of you who want to experience upward facing dog pose with longer arms, now is your chance to do it. So you place each hand on the blocks, press into the tops of your feet, and come up to upward facing dog pose. And you can picture in upward dog pose the happiness of your own dog when he or she does upward dog pose. Use the strength of your arms, the flexibility of your heart, and the breathability of the low belly. And then lightly touch your knees down, and let's sweep the low belly in. And now when you head back to child's pose, bring one block with you to rest your forehead on, leave the other block aside. And practice again that in child's pose, you're letting the eyes get deeply quiet. Let your gaze go back towards your brainstem, even giving some appreciation for the whole process of sight, right? The whole ocular system back there. And imagine the eyes becoming very still, and therefore also the mind doing the same. And now please walk your hands back to your knees. And I'm going to have you lie on your back in a moment with this yoga block. It's going to go under the base of the skull at the occiput. So I'm going to show you what that looks like so you won't get confused. When I lie on my back here, let me put my head in the direction of the other camera just in case that's helpful. So I'm going to take this block on the flat setting like this, and the beveled edge of the block is going to be for my head. So once I get my head there, I'm going to tip it slightly up, which means I'll hold it with my hand so that I can come across this beveled edge. Looks like this. So I get myself set. My head has a lot of neck flexion right now. And then I'm going to pick up that very front edge of the block so that I can hold it with my fingers. And now I'm able to massage the occipital ridge like this. So I am holding the block with my fingers underneath so that it won't tip. And it's helpful to put fingers to the back side of the block too so it won't slide away from you. And of course you can adapt it to yourself. If you're rolling side to side across this occipital ridge, try to sense the places that have some tenderness and give them your appreciation. Sometimes it helps when you meet a place of tenderness that you kind of hang out there and do a couple of rocks over that spot, rolling the head, rocking your head left to right. And if you haven't yet, turn your head as far as it comfortably goes to your right and gaze inward at the brainstem. As your breathing slow down, become more rhythmic. And go as far as you comfortably can to the other side. Allow your breathing to slow down, to become more rhythmic. And then roll your head to center, make the block flat on the floor. Rest your head there. Your gaze is going to be naturally down in towards your heart. In fact, you kind of have a passive experience of what we call in yoga, Jalandhara Bandha. It means the throat bandha is gently closed. You can close your eyes and take your gaze once more towards your brain stem. Invite your eyes to become very still. And for your brain to know that you're not right now in fight or flight. You are here for refuge and renewal. And you can remove the block from under your head, and please reach for the other block, which I'm doing with my foot because I have foot dexterity. Now you have your two blocks. This is going to be for supported bridge pose. So a couple of options. One is lift the hips and put the block on just the flat setting under the back of your pelvis. Second option, lift your hips, put the block under the back of the pelvis on the medium setting like this. And the third option, and my personal preference, keeping your head centered, you lift the hips and put both blocks under like a little bench. Roll the chest and shoulders open. And come into your supported bridge pose. Now for those who would like to, and this is certainly not required, but you could reach your hands towards your ankles, and some people are able to hold the insides of the ankles, and they do that with the fingers, and the palms are facing up and the thumbs point out to the sides of the room. That's quite a bit of shoulder flexibility and upper back flexibility. Other people will put their fingers under their heels, and the heels stand on the fingerprints. You can again tuck the shoulders under to support your heart. And for some of us, we aren't able to reach the feet, so we just enjoy Satya Bandhasana as it is. Or you could bring a strap in for another time that we would be doing it. But for this afternoon, let's keep it simple and gaze towards your heart. One more time, please breathe in. And then press into your toes, lift your hips, take the two blocks. And as you come down towards Shavasana now, I'm going to recommend that you make any designer Shavasana that you want. But another option as you lie here is to set the legs out like a starfish. Set the arms out like a starfish. Close your eyes. And then simply turn your palms face down. And keep it as a really simple Shavasana. See what you can do to kind of induce the deep nourishment, comfort, and replenishment by using your eyes during Shavasana. To gaze back towards the brainstem. And as you gaze back towards the brainstem, let your eyes get heavy and relaxed. And very still. Invite the limpness and the heaviness of your eyes to also give this permission to your tongue and to the hinge of your jaw. with your attention at the base of your brain, the back of your head. Now allow the back of the throat to soften. Invite the back of your heart to rest against the floor, to feel supported by the earth. Invite your lungs to relax. The breath may be very shallow right now. In the back of your body, allow your kidneys and your adrenals to become heavy and relaxed. And allow the organs right across the mid-torso to also become heavy with relaxation, resting into the back of the rib cage. Your liver, your gallbladder, pancreas and spleen, and the stomach itself. And allow the ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon to also be heavy with relaxation. Imagine them becoming limp, like a deeply relaxed pet, a cat, a dog, a ferret. That the organs know and that the colon knows this is not a time for fight or flight. You are here for refuge and renewal. And allow the back of the pelvis to become heavy, so your sacrum, the bones of your pelvis, the bones of your hips, can also become limp with relaxation. Invite the same for the organs of procreation and elimination. And imagine the pelvic floor also getting this message now to be at ease, a few degrees more at ease. Traveling down the back of your legs to the calves. Allow the calves to melt, to release their participation in fight or flight. And for the heels and toes to become deeply at rest. And when you sense the earth beneath you, you are returning to the earth element. If any part of your body might become more deeply relaxed. You might be noticing in Shavasana that if the mind becomes busied or wanders, the eyes get activated. And so you can practice quieting your mind again by softening your eyes. Now as you rest just for a short while more, I'd like you to make a little mental snapshot, like a tiny picture of yourself in your mind that you can return intermittently and with frequency in the course of the day. You could return to softening the eyes for refuge and renewal. And sometimes you'll need that refuge or renewal between emails, between pieces of news, between pieces of food. You know, when you're eating, you don't need to lose track of being nourished. So now you may enjoy a slightly deeper breath in, and gently wiggle your fingers and your toes. Please bend your knees. And without causing activation for the mind or your vrittis, we call them in Sanskrit, please roll to your side. And then use both hands to come up to sitting when you're ready to. Sahana vavatu, sahana bhunaktu, savidyam karavavai. Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavai. Come up to a comfortable seat, remembering that the word saha means together. We've been here together. Please bring your hands together at your heart. There's a Rilke poem that comes to mind for me, and I'll share the parts I can remember. It said, God speaks to each of us as he makes us, and then walks with us silently out into the night. These words we dimly hear. You, sent out beyond recall, go to the limits of your longing. Let everything happen, beauty and terror. No feeling is final. Let everything happen, beauty and terror. Nearby, you will see the city they call life. Don't let yourself lose me. Here, give me your hand. Don't let yourself lose me. Here, give me your hand. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. So I'm going to come towards the camera in a moment. I'm just basking in the stillness of being with you. And then we'll have a chance to say hi for a couple minutes together. Thank you, Rebecca, for helping the class. What we'll do is, if you can from your side as the co-host, turn off the live stream and the recording, then our visit is confidential.